This is a prayer I wrote to use whenever you are losing hope and you find yourself on your knees. Mother's Guide Prayer. I pray from the depth of my mother's soul to release my child from suffering, to release my heart from deep sorrow and fear for our future, to send earth angels to guide us on our long journey, to keep my mind, body, and spirit filled with hope as I go through my life, guiding my child's disabilities and gifts. May others who judge me be forgiven as I have been forgiven. Give me the strength and courage to be the mother guide my child needs when needed, and the intuition to allow them to fly to their own destiny. Please guide my child with love and patience, all the while guiding me, my child's mother guide. Hi, I'm Bridget Shipman. I'm the host and creator of A Mother's Guide Through Autism podcast. And today I'm going to be talking about a list of top 10 essential pieces of advice that I'm going to be doing for the next 10 weeks. This is an introductory to what I'm going to be doing because I really want you to understand why I developed and reflected and created this list for all of you mother guides. To back up just a little bit, I want you to know if this is the first time you're getting to know me, I have a son, Joseph. He is now 30 years old. And Joseph and I started this podcast together to offer hope, knowledge, and inspiration. So for the next 10 weeks, these 10 pieces of essential advice comes from my 30 years of being a mother guide and having a child on the autistic spectrum. And I really took some time to reflect because this is a journey and it is a challenging journey, but I want to let you all know that whether you're at the beginning, you just found out your child's autistic, or you've been on this journey for a while and you may be like me, you may have a child that is now grown, and we all have our stories. And I think it is really important to share our stories. Joseph and I, when we decided that we would team up, we began with the podcast. And then as we developed the podcast, we decided we would co-author A Mother's Guide Through Autism and also through the eyes of the guided. So Joseph and I decided that we wanted, and I have the book here so you can have a visual of it, because the visual piece is what is a metaphor to the work that Joseph and I are doing. So you have A Mother's Guide Through Autism, which is my half of the book. And what I do is I wrote this book for you. I wrote this book for other mothers. And yes, I do share pieces of my story and apply it to tools that you can use to heal your own heart, because this is also one of the reasons that I'm going to be spending the next 10 weeks and with my top 10 essential pieces of advice, because one of the most important things I have learned is to heal your heart is also helping your child's heart. And it's really important for you to know that. And I know because I spent most of my time searching for resources to help my son, but I didn't have these tools to heal my heart. And I believe with all of my heart that Joseph and I would have had more joyful experiences had I have had these tools. So this is my perspective. Then when you flip it, you have Joseph's perspective. And this is through the eyes of the guided. And you see there's a North Star and a person sitting on a mountain. That was Joseph's idea. And this North Star right here is what I also write about, because the North Star is your hope. And that is really important for you to know. So we have a day and a night perspective, because I didn't have the same experience as Joseph did. And I think it's important for you all to know that all the while that you're living through this experience, your child is experiencing something different. And that's important. And I hope that you buy the book, because Joseph and I'm going to start a book club for mothers. More on that. Stay tuned. So keep joining us in our podcast, and I'll be talking about the book club and letting you know the important information of how to sign up and when it begins. So stay tuned for that. Also, I want you to know that as I do these next 10 weeks, that I am going from number one being the most important piece of advice. So I'm going in a chronological order. I know if you've ever watched the old David Letterman show, he always did it backwards, and drum roll for number one. But I'm going to start with number one, because I felt like, as I reflected to put this list together, that certainly, and it was hard because I have 30 years with this experience. And so to come up with 10 pieces of essential advice, it was rather difficult. So I am hoping that I hit the most important pieces, but I am sure that I probably left some out. But what I thought was I can always add them as they come up, or certainly if you have some advice to share with other mothers, please do, because that is what this is about. This is a source of support, and also to let you all know that you're not alone, and we are all in this really together. So where I'm at right now in my life, I'm trying to pay it forward to all of you, and hoping that when you listen to this podcast, that you can feel the connection and that you can apply it to your own life, and you can heal your heart along the way. I also wanted to let you know that when I started this journey, when I first found out that Joseph was autistic, that is where the number one piece of advice comes from. And again, I want to reemphasize that it doesn't really matter where you're at on your journey. These pieces of advice still apply, because they still apply to me. I want you to know that I really am excited about this, because again, as I do this work is me paying it forward to all of you. And I want you to join each week as I do this list and write down the pieces of essential advice, journal. I believe that as you hear these 10 pieces, that this gives you an opportunity to reflect and to journal about what you're feeling. Journaling, and I know most of us have heard of the benefits of journaling, but when you write, there is a certain connection with your brain that helps you get to feelings that you might not otherwise come up. That, I have ahas all the time when I journal. So that writing technique really helps you open up and discover things about your journey that you wouldn't otherwise discover. So I do highly recommend, as you move through these 10 pieces of advice, to journal along the way. and listen to each episode and take some time for yourself. See where you're at with these pieces of advice and see where you can apply it. And that is a great way to navigate and find direction. I work with moms. I hear you. I know you, and I want you to know that this is for you. Before I go from this episode, introducing our essential pieces of advice, I want to read just a really little piece of A Mother's Guide Through Autism. I feel like this piece of the book really fits to what I'm talking to you about today, and it really is a great kickoff for the next 10 weeks. So this is from A Mother's Guide Through Autism. I want to disclose that I am still on my own autism journey as a mother guide. I will be a mother guide for the rest of my life. As I move forward, my intentional purpose is to continue to share my story and pay it forward with what I have learned. I am a teacher at heart, so this is my love language, to teach, guide, and continue learning. May you find peace and healing as you move through this healing guide. This is a prayer I wrote to use whenever you are losing hope and you find yourself on your knees. Mother's Guide Prayer. I pray from the depth of my mother's soul to release my child from suffering, to release my heart from deep sorrow and fear for our future, to send earth angels to guide us on our long journey, to keep my mind, body, and spirit filled with hope as I go through my life, guiding my child's disabilities and gifts. May others who judge me be forgiven as I have been forgiven. Give me the strength and courage to be the mother guide my child needs when needed, and the intuition to allow them to fly to their own destiny. Please guide my child with love and patience, all the while guiding me, my child's mother guide. Amen. I say amen because amen means so it is, so you let go, so you give it, you surrender. I hope when you are having one of your dark days that this prayer, when you're on your knees, I wrote this prayer from my mother's heart to your mother's heart. And you can write your own prayer. I talk about that in the book, and pray that prayer that helps you when you're on your knees to get up, take a breath, and know that you're going to be okay. Your child's going to be okay. And yes, we are going to have tough days. You bet, you bet. But we're in this together. This is to give you the hope, the tools, and the inspiration to have a beautiful day with your child. So I'm going to leave you with this. I would love for you to go hug your child, to just spend some time with your beautiful child and be kind to yourself. Do something beautiful for yourself today. And join me in the next episode, because I will be talking about the number one piece of essential advice as a mother guide on your ASD journey. See you then.